Hi there, this is Adrian and welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to show you and teach you a little bit about a way of fermenting and composting your kitchen scraps and food, which is called a bokashi. So a bokashi comes from the Japanese, I don't know exactly what it means. I think it means cold fermentation or cold composting. And why do I think this is a really cool thing? I mean, the first major advantage is that you can repurpose and compost all your kitchen scraps. So you don't need to throw these things away. You can just take what is left from it, like from those peels and shells and leftovers, and all the nutrients that are still packed into there, you can squeeze them out and reuse them for your plants in the garden. The second big advantage of bokashi is that you can do this indoor. So it's actually in the form of a bucket that you can keep indoor. It doesn't take much space, it's cheap to make, and it doesn't smell anything except for the bokashi tea. But you won't be really very much exposed to that, and I'll show you this in this video. The third big advantage is that from all those leftovers and kitchen scraps, you'll get two really precious things. One thing is the composted matter, the mixture that you can then reuse in your garden, dig in your beds for all the micro and macroorganisms to take up and absorb slowly all those remaining nutrients and minerals, and also to improve the soil texture. And then you also have the bokashi tea, which is the juice that will be extracted through the fermentation and composting. This is essentially liquid gold. It's liquid, natural, organic fertilizer that is quickly absorbable by your plants and that you can use in your garden, use with your plants, and that will boost them like never before. So let's build this bokashi together. So what I did here in Sweden, I bought 2 buckets of, how many liters? I think 15 liters each. The lids were sold separately, so I only bought 1. And you will understand why. It's really important that the lid allows you to make the bucket airproof, because the bokashi bacteria is anaerobic, which means that it thrives best when there's as little air as possible. So it's not the same as a compost that you would have outside. I actually have the receipt here. So the bucket, 40 crowns each. The lid cost me 10 crowns, and then the tap cost me 50 crowns. So if you use the simple version, it will cost you 90 crowns. And if you use the fancy version with the tap, it will cost you 130 crowns. In the shop, it would cost around at least 500. So it's like 4 to 5 times more expensive in the shop. We've had one here, for example, in this house since we moved in, and until now we've not thrown a single compost bag in the trash. So everything has been used in our bokashi because I have another existing one. So you see how much you recycle and how much you reuse and you return into, you retransform into nutrients that you can then use along the line. So the idea is that you, like a lasagna, you put layers of kitchen scraps, like when you peel vegetables, or the skin of a banana, of an avocado, of an orange, of eggshells. You can even put certain cooked products, so it's not that sensitive, like rice and so on. And then each time you add a layer, you sparkle on top of it. Here it is. This is what you then put on top of your layer of kitchen scraps. This is 1 kilo. I think I bought it here in Sweden for 200 crowns, which is more or less 20 euros. The idea is that you will have 1 bucket where you'll put the things in, the kitchen scraps, with the lid to remove the air, remember? And then the second one will act as a container for your bokashi tea. And so I will put one inside the other, and you can see, I hope, is that there's a little space between the two buckets, and this will be where the tea will drip into. What you need to do, which is really not complicated, is take this one and then drill little holes at the bottom, ideally between 20 and 30 holes. This is where the tap can play a role, is either when you see, those ones are a bit transparent, which is amazing. So I can see whenever there will be juice here. And if I see, okay, there's a lot of juice, I can just lift the first bucket, then remove the liquid into a bottle, and then put it back on. Okay, let's get to the drilling. I'm really excited. It's the first time I'm doing it. So as I said, the aim of this channel is not to, to be a master at things, an expert, and to teach you how things should be. It's just, exploring things myself, to learn alongside me and to try things out, exchange insights and comments and experience. And I think that's the whole idea, to build a community around this. I'm very nervous. I've never done this. Actually, there's another mode here that's called hammer. Wow. I'm gonna go back to the first mode. This was too intense for me. And basically that's it. So you can see the idea for the tap, if you decide to put one in, is again to make a hole, to add the tap here. From the inside, then you use this other insulation ring, and then you just use that other ring, you screw it on so that it's tight, and then if you want to be super safe, you can use silicone around it on both sides so that you're sure there will be no leak. I have this little bucket in my kitchen where I put I accumulate my kitchen scraps in it before I transfer them to the Bokashi. I take a spoon and then I just let it fall in. If possible, if you see labels on banana peels and so on, if possible, remove them. I've done a layer here. Next is I take this tool and press on it as much as possible. You can hear the eggshells cracking, it's really satisfying. You take your Bokashi activator and put a bit on top. And then you just continue the operation. Here I stand with my two existing Bokashi. So this is the expensive one that I bought, which has been fermenting for a while now because it's full. And this is the one we built together. And now it's been a couple of days since we built it together, probably 6 days. And it's already almost full to 3/4. So you can see at what speed it fills up in our household. And it looks like I'm gonna have to build a second one, or maybe a third one as well, just to be safe. There is Bokashi tea already, which means my system is working, which I will add into those bottles. It looks almost appetizing, but I really wouldn't drink that. Now I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna use the Bokashi tea in my garden. Proportion, since this is really strong stuff with lots of nutrients and minerals, which are really beneficial for your garden, but if you put too much, they will overdose and this will disturb the whole balance in your soil, so you don't want to do that, is 1 to 100, which means that in this one watering can that is 10 liters, I will just put 1/100th of 10 liter, which is 1 deciliter. So I take this, hold my breath, 1 deciliter, I put it into the watering can, and then I add my water. So as I told you, the idea now is to water your beds. Although my beds are still frozen, so the biological activity is very, very limited. This will, boost it and activate it a little bit. And also the fact that I put cardboard and leaves on top of the soil warms it up a little bit, so it increased the activity a little bit. And I'm also soaking the soil already with some of those nutrients. So those nutrients in liquid form are quickly bioavailable, so can quickly be used by the soil, by the plants, whereas, for example, the leaves that will decompose, they will take a while before the soil can use the nutrients that are in the leaves. So the leaves, by decomposing, will bring two things. They will bring soil texture, so they will bring carbon and also nutrients. Whereas the Bokashi tea will not bring any texture because there's no carbon in there, or very little. It will rather bring nutrients only. But bear in mind to not do this too often because adding too much richness, too much fertility, too much nutrients and too much minerals is not necessarily good. It can actually harm your plant's development. I hope you enjoyed this quick video. It's just, I'm exploring this topic. I discovered Bokashi last year when moving to the countryside, since I could reuse it in my garden. And, again, it's not rocket science. It's very simple. It's very cool because, not throwing away things, repurposing, then you can save a lot of money by doing it yourself, as I showed you the price difference in this video. And then, going through the whole process of fermentation, so, encouraging and nurturing biodiversity, microorganisms, macroorganisms, improving your soil texture. And, by improving the fertility and the biology of your soil, you actually also contribute to the ecosystem and to capturing more carbon into the soil. We never speak about that, but a biological rich soil captures way more carbon than a dead or with low fertility soil. When you drive next to fields that are completely black, where you just see the soil and there's no cover crop, there's no crop on it, where it's just the soil, this soil is dead. The biology is probably 1%, 2% max in it. Whereas if you have a rich soil, like you take it in your hands, it smells good, you see worms, you smell small insects, you see mushrooms. This soil has like 8%, 9%. And you have to know that every percentage of biology... I needed to get my phone to just check and double check the stats, the facts. So per hectare, per year, 1% of organic matter equals 20 tons of CO2 and 230 cubic meter of water. Why is this important? One, for the environment, capturing loads and loads of CO2 from the air and putting it into the soil. And then the water, I'm sure you've seen that there are more and more events where there's massive rain in wherever you live. I'm sure you've witnessed that, a lot of rain, and then the soil doesn't manage to suck up the water. So you have flood and flooded villages, flooded fields, flooded cities, and this is a massive natural catastrophe. So by improving the soil fertility, you actually contribute to a much better ecosystem that manages to absorb CO2 and absorb water when it rains. And then, that water goes down into the water reserves, and which is then great for the whole water system circle and for the plants and for the trees, etc. So yeah, I could speak about that forever. I'm really passionate about this topic and all the benefits of, by doing your little Bokashi, you contribute actually to that complex and precious balance. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to see more of this kind of videos of DIY, permaculture, how to contribute to positively to the environment, to your local ecosystem, let me know, and I would love to exchange in the comments about that and to speak about that in a next video. Thank you for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.